Dr. Henderson. That's right. John Hammond. How do you do? Hello. Where is everyone? Late is where everyone is. Oh, I'm sorry. It really doesn't. Good evening, all. Speak of two devils. Hello, you two. Come and meet the doctor. But me and my state of health? It's being so cheerful keeps her going. Hello, doctor. I'm Neville. You'll have to forgive them, doctor. They've both got a touch of the harpics. What? Clear round the bend. Hello, all. Governor not in yet? Harry! Yes, Padre. House of Worship, Harry. Oh, I'm sorry. Doctor, this is Squadron Leader Harry Morgan. Pleased to meet you, sir. Hello. Harry's our tame DFC. Oh, Hilda, for Christ's sake. House of Worship, Harry. Who are we missing, Hilda? Well, sorry, boss. Are we the last? No, there's still George and Edmund. Oh, well. New hairdo, Aggie? That's right, Norman. How clever of you to notice. Frank, come and meet Dr. Henderson. Oh, yes, of course. Good evening, everyone. I am covered with shame. I bow, I scrape, I am with Tennyson, wild with all regret. Dr. Henderson. That's right. We will waste no more of your valuable time. Everyone be seated, please. More light. Edmund. Ah, right, that's better, Doctor. Have you met everyone? Well, more or less. That's splendid. Well, the good doctor has very generously agreed to give us some medical background on bubonic plague. Most of you die of it, so you may as well know of what you are dying. Now, do you want to? I thought I'd just run through the basic facts and then answer any questions. Just what I was about to suggest. Splendid. Well, simply, what is now called the Black Death is a form of bubonic plague, as you said, and it is caused by the Bacillus pastorella pestis, which is passed on from infected rats to men by way of fleas. In simple bubonic plague, I'll describe the complications in a minute. The flea is called Xenopsilla chaopsis, and the rat is a big black chap called Rattus rattus. Evening, George. I was reading in the library, and my watch seemed to stop. Come and sit down, George. Right. Sorry. It's all right, George. Do carry on, please. Well, as I say, basically, disease of rats passed on to man by fleas. Now there are three types of plague. Simple bubonic is characterized by swollen lymphatic glands called buboes in the armpit and groin, and subcutaneous hemorrhages that blotch the skin. Very painful after about 5 days. Buboes burst, victim dies. Number two is septicemic plague, when the bacilli get into the blood. The flea in this case is the Pulex irritans, which doesn't need rats and lives on. Very quick, kills before the buboes form. Number three, most virulent is pneumonic plague. Effectively, when the bubonic victim catches pneumonia, his lungs are infected, he coughs blood, spraying the bacilli into the air, thus spreading the disease directly man to man. It's when this form becomes prevalent that the pestilence ceases to be merely epidemic and becomes pandemic. Is that all clear? Oh, yes, absolutely, utterly clear, yes. No problem. Well, good. That's the nitty-gritty anyway. So, any questions? Anyone? Pandemic, doctor. Yes. What does pandemic mean, doctor? It means general, prevalent, over a whole country or even continent, as opposed to epidemic, which is much more localized. General, prevalent, fine. Anyone else? Did they know about the rats causing it? No, they didn't, and it's important to remember we're not talking about sewer rats, George Orwell territory. Rattus rattus is a sleek, rather handsome, friendly sort of chap. So what did they think caused it? Well, you name it. The most popular theory was that it was carried in the air, kind of vapor. There was an Arab physician, Ibn Khatama, if that's how he's pronounced, who argued that at the center of this cloud you couldn't breathe or burn a light, and then Galen of Permagus, who was the classical authority, he thought it came from marshes and ponds, and there were various other theories. One had it that it was in the eyes, quite literally, that looks could kill. Did they treat it, the doctors? Well, yes, in a rather ineffectual way. There were lots of potions and folk remedies, closer to magic than medicine, most of them. Not that that's exclusively medieval, of course. Oh, there's one prescription I thought might give you an idea. Take 1 ounce of best gold plus 11 ounces of quicksilver. Dissolve over a slow heat. Let quicksilver escape. Add 47 ounces of water or borage. Keep all right, airtight for 3 days over a fire and drink. And then there were the usual bleedings and leeches and cauterization and so on. Not the best time in history to be ill. Also, there was a certain fatalism, which is more of a religious question, but it didn't help the doctors. And topically enough, medicine was self restricted too. Doctors weren't inclined to treat patients who might not live to pay them. What do you think of Malthus, doctor? What? The theory had it been to happen that plague and famine and war are necessary from time to time when there's overpopulation, that they're necessary forces to control. What do you think of that as a theory? I think it's abominable. Good, good. That's all I wanted to ask. Why do you think it was so extensive? Well, the reasons I've said, really. No, I was thinking of things like greater freedom of movement. Well, yes, that's not medical, of course, but yes. A larger volume of trade. Yes, that's the same. People concentrated in towns and cities. Yes, yes, certainly. Progress, in fact. I'm not quite sure. And of course, the worst thing to do, wasn't it, was try to help. Because if you did, if you befriended a sufferer, you were liable to catch it. Whereas, if you shut your doors and watched them die in the street, alone, then you and 1,000 others might be safe. I suppose that's true, isn't it? Well, can we cure the plague? Yes, warfarin kills rats, DDT kills fleas, and antibiotics cure the thing itself. What did you mean by that? Mean by what, Harry? About the worst thing to do. Well, I think the point that both John and I were making in different ways, and George too, in an oblique fashion, is that civilization, which claims to eradicate our friendly equine buddies, plague, hunger, war, has in fact perhaps tended to encourage them. That easier communications, reliance of cities on imported food, armaments technology have not eliminated, but made more deadly those forces of destruction. Is that a question? The punctuation is optional, but you said yourself the medical profession hardly comes through the plague with all flags flying. No, no, and I'd agree with your implication too, that even now doctors are often ignorant and won't admit it, arrogant, without cause, and avaricious. Then as now, not only friends in need, but friends in need of money. I'd admit all that quite freely. Physicians heal them thyself? Well, yes, indeed. Could I ask, while we are on the subject, Mr. Wolfe, was it intentional that your play should open on the date the National Health Act comes into force? Shall we say it was a happy coincidence? Any more questions? Right, we won't keep you any longer. Our heartfelt gratitude, company 10 minutes, then Act 2. Can I have a hand with the chairs? And can Hilda have a hand with the chairs? I take it from what you said that you espouse the minority view in your profession. Well, yes, but it's not so much a minority. It's always the biggest wallets make the most noise. Even if you're an underworked consultant in Mayfair, spend your time lobbying the Ministry of Health. Harder if you're a South Wales GP with twice the number of patients to cope with. You'll think they'll go in? Sure to, only niggling 'cause it's labor. No misgivings, nationalizing hospitals. I think really most people would prefer to see the hospitals financed by the state rather than by whist drum. drives and flag days, don't you? I meant professional independence. You know, there's an odd double standards about essential services. The chairman of the BMA tells Bevan, "You need the doctors, we have the doctors," and he trots out a list of concessions as long as your arm, but when it's you need the doctors, we have the doctors. Then Attlee slaps on emergency powers and sends the troops in. What a vision! The Paris landing on the roof of Bart's. I take it you've little faith in the prospects of the NHS. Well, not in itself, but it's just administration, isn't it? The issue's not the coupons, surely. It's what the food's like, Well, not exactly. I think you'll find they're more related than that. But I must go. Of course, it's been most useful. Good. I look forward to seeing it. Well, you can read it if you like. Thanks, I would. Subject to alteration without notice, as they say. Well, goodbye for now. Goodbye. Bright chap for a doctor. Well, what's the verdict? Delicately put, but not a chance. I see. Any idea how long? Hamburg. Indirectly, yes, it's academic anyway. I get this funny stiffness in the neck and sleepy. That's why I was late. Just fell asleep. I had some news today. A letter from my old associate. It's true? It's true, yes. You remember when the news came through the siege of Leningrad was raised? I was in Farnborough mucking about with little strips of foil to blind their radar, and then the news of all that sacrifice, but real, not like the bomber crews, real sacrifice, courage, heroism, real in that it was to build a better, felt there was nothing then could not be done, before you found out what was being done. Exactly. Act Two. Where's Hilda? Vestry. Good. I want to try the masks today. Mr. Wolf, I wonder if I could have a word? Not now, Harry. Afterwards, all right? Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie, Kyrie eleison. Old player Ham does as he can. Sports in the holy all hallows season, as abbot of unreason. Scepter and crown tumble must down, and in the dust be equal made with the poor crooked scythe and spade. We tried to escape. We ran like the wind, but the wind was faster. We had to leave our carriage, walk along the plow tracks to the house. A week or two of quietness. Now my husband's growing pale. Good morning, madam. How's my uncle? Tired. He mustn't sleep. Slumber of day and sudden excitation are both a dangerous excess. He must employ his thoughts. I'll see to him. Employ his thoughts? On what? No business. Trade has died. The field lie fallow. Sheep and oxen running free with no one tending them. Will you sing for us, Lord Abbot? Indeed, my lady, all abbots are good for some say singing. To God in heaven we complain, Kyrie eleison, that the priests cannot be slain. Kyrie eleison. Now we see that God is just. Kyrie eleison. For He's slain them all for us. Kyrie eleison. And golden lads and girls all must, like chimney sweepers, come to dust. Lady, your husband, sick. There's nothing certain yet. He's sick? How could he catch it here and seeing no one? There's little can protect us from the air. I'll try to bleed it out. And that will help? Madam, each organ has its own emunctory, through which the poison entered through the pores may drawn out be, from where the sickness may be lodged, the heart, the liver, or the brain. The heart's emunctory is underarm. The liver's is the legs between, and of the brain the throat. The blood is drawn, the sickness should abate. If he dies, master, you'll inherit his estates. If you have no issue, madam, yes. How could I have an issue? Can bleeding do him any good? It is the most our present science has. I said, can it do good? My Lord Abbot, a question. Yes, my son. Plague rages through the land. Indeed it does, my son. How can we counter it, my lord? 3 views, my son. 3 attitudes. Some say flee up all and run away. Well then, to many others are that of opinion, sir, the roads are all clogged up with folk going all ways, belching and blowing and spitting all on each other, in short, a right health hazard. So I say take care of fleeting, sir. And so the second? Well, there are those who argue for a preventive remedy for stillness, care of all activity, slow moving, hang the house around with burning woods, ash, juniper and vine, and aromatics, mastic, wood of aloes, amber and sweet musk. Well then, too many others tend to that position, sir. All aromatics are in the shortage, and you can't get musk for love nor money. So I say take care of careful, odorous sobriety. The third? Well, there's those inclining to abandonment, my son, to lush and black excess. Well then, a lot of that persuasion too, not in itself a disadvantage, but there are hazards in this policy. What hazards? Notably hellfire, damnation, and the racks of flame eternal, sir. Then what is your conclusion? That all in all it is an ill time to be sickened, sir. But taking of the three, I'd go on bounds for abandonment, for either roads is like to end up in the grave. That's well said. Oh, I try to please, and if I don't, I'm pleased to try again. Then you are a philosopher. If I'm not, God save me, sir, and if I am, then God must save philosophy. And Jack the Miller grinds small, 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 and the King's Son of Heaven shall pay for it all. My bleeding's done. He's well. No, no. So neither may I be, and so the nearer you may stand to me, the nearer our true sickness. But he's still alive? Oh, yes, what little comfort may he had I've stolen from him, but for an hour or so he'll live. I want to see him. No, I want to see him if he's going to die. There's other remedies. Yes, yes, in half an hour, but now please go. So saw my husband, told him of his death, but in death life, and in the grave is victory. I tell my husband, sir, I am with child, no man else knows. Your lady is with child. Lord Abbot, you said that if we live a life of pleasure, we'll be damned. True, madam. But if we live in pious, sober life, we're saved. Not true, madam. And why not? Well, lady, we are taught with priests to tell us and instruct us, all men are beasts and sinners, as in Adam's time, and all the priests are fled or dead. Then aren't we better being virtuous without them? No, no, for if we don't sin without their counsel, then we spit on Scripture, and we must be damned. And further, as this is, they say, God's punishment, or universal vice, then to be good and thus deny his judgment seems like blasphemy. So either road is broad and straight, and leads direct to hell. So then, Lord Abbot, you must give dispensation to excess. Well, yes, my lady. You said so, my lord. Oh, yes, indeed, as a matter of theology. But practically, my lord, a dispensation to all forms of sin? Oh, yes, so all available, all sins, venial and mortal, deadly and original. Name them. Name which? The deadly sins available. Oh, why, there's 7 of them. Gluttony and wrath and pride and envy, sloth and avarice. That's only 6, my lord. Why, then there's gluttony, wrath, pride and envy, sloth, avarice, and wrath. You said wrath twice, my lord. Why, then there's pride, gluttony, wrath, sloth, and envy, avarice, and lech. Madam, I'm your servant. Then, master, aren't I your mistress? And lovely girls who get a green gown lie with many die alone. You stayed too long. He's dead. Then you have work to do. What work? For the estate that's fallen to you, master. The lady thus keeps a secret. She's with child. The clerk inherits all her husband's gold. The lady doth discharge her due and right, that she may flee and find her gentle knight. What about this plague, then, eh? Eh? What about this plague, then, eh? 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 Mistress, open the door and let us in. We hope your favor we shall win. We'll do our best to please you all, each one of us. For short, tall, if you believe not what I say unto the king of Egypt, clear the way. I am the king of Egypt, as plainly does appear. I am his daughter Sabra, our chastely maiden fair. I am Prince George, who did the scaly dragon slaughter. and married was unto the king of Egypt's daughter. And I am the Black Prince Paradise, the Turkish knight, come of fair Araby, for you to fight. I come to kill St. George, my foe. When he's done and back home I'll go. Be he a Christian or he wear a crown, Mahomet shall him quickly strike well done. Oh, George, pray do not fight, lest he kill you. No, I mum, stop this black-faced infidel. Oh, George, I pray again, you must be slain. Not so, too, would be a greater bane. Oh, very well, then hark at you, and you again, thrust you through a 10 times 10. Then nigh am I to die, 'tis true. Oh, George, look what it is you do. Prince George is fallen, and my lover's slain. I'm dead, so who can we call on? Who would cure the pain that's in my head? Is there a doctor to be found already nearby at hand, to cure this deep and deathly blow, and make the champion stand? I am a doctor. Doctor? Aye. From whence and why? From whither of the world around, for why to cure him on the ground? What can you cure? Oh, any diseases, freezes and sneezes, whatever ye pleases, the stitch, itch, the ague, scratch, and palsy and gout, the murrain within and the murrain without, the vapids, the vapors, the blight of the lame, and for half a patence more, the dead rise up again. And what is your fee? £7 is all my fee, the money lay you down, but as 'tis such a rogue as he, I'll do for half a crown. So drink this jug, slurp, slurp, glug, glug, and stand to claim your crown. My son is elevated. Look low, my love is levitated. My son is elevated. Look low, my love is levitated. Then must I fight Prince George once more. Where is my fee? Then let's to war. Thus am I cheated. Then I you clout. I flout. I lout you true. So in and out I thrust you through. Again 'tis vain I'm slain, no doubt. So pray your last with fear devout. So thus I die. Where is my fee? You scurvy rogue, begone. With joy I cry, please marry me. So thus our tale is done. God bless you, sir, afore your roaring fire. God bless your mistress in her fine attire. None in your cheery house would we to chide, and yet but bless us on this Christmas tide. So play for Christmas, see? Diken, Diken, Diken. 3 days I've searched for you, sir. Well, now you've found me. I'm called to war in France. You coming? No, sir, no. Save I get double wages, sir. What? You heard, sir. Decan? Double, sir. I'll find another rascal then. Do that. We shall, if you can find one, sir. A half again. No, sir, that's all I can. Then have you a good journey, sir. Come on, William. Each one should have a purse on him, left for his burial, and he don't. We leave him. What are you doing? Someone's got to, sir. Time for all to soil their souls, and they want to keep 'em. Where's your lady, sir? Lady? What lady? What about this, eh? No, shoddy, no market for it, see? Morning, Deacon. Morning, Master Bull. All done, are they? Nearly. Good, come on. Come on, you, get loading. Cold enough to freeze your plums off, eh, Deacon? Aye, I'd thought too cold even for plague now. Oh, no, fear not, the plagues are hardly beast, not like some of us, who flake out at the first whiff of privation. Eh, boy? Did you hear, Master Bull? So short on burial ground in France, the Pope has consecrated all the river Rhone, so folks just drop 'em in. I hope there's no talk of that here. Most saintly fish in all the world, they swim in liquid paradise. Ah, Master Bung, found one. What's a priest for? They pay for Christian burial, that's what they're going to get. He says he'll do 10 requiescats for a penny, and full requiem for 2.5 pence. Let's hear you then. Libera me Domine de morte eterna in dia illa. Enough you'll do. Some of 'em just dress up as clergy for the stipend, see? Come, Master Bung. Sirs, I am looking for a knight. A green-dressed knight that's back from France and Italy. And you've seen him, sirs? No knights here, lady. Save endless night, maybe. Endless night. Oh, aye. You've not seen him, sir, green-dressed. Aye, we've seen him. Where? He's gone, run away to escape the plague. Thank you for telling me. Lady, have you any with you? No, sir, you can't be alone now, lady. William, will be your service. Now, what's this one, eh? William, we've enough to keep ourselves. Or I'll be. Thank you. He dead? I don't know. Ask him. Are you dead, sir? I've nothing I can pay you. Oh, by our mother, William. That's no matter, lady. Dead. No purse or charity. Wrong, Master Bond. What about this plague then, eh? Nothing you can do. Once there, the little hardness, hurting or pretend an hour so, not there, but is, and grows, till pop, just hope it's soon. You'd best keep away. All virtue's deadly now, but charity is deadliest. Oh, yes, charity's a killer. Kindness kills, and friendliness is fatal, yes. Out this plague then, eh? Mine gone. We'll pick him up tomorrow. Now we go. Libera me, Domine, de morte alterna in dia illa, tremenda quando coli movendi sunt et terra. No, leave him, lady. Leave her, William, leave her and let's go. There's nothing wrong with him. What you mean? Look, no tokens, not a mark, he hasn't got the plague. Then why? He thought he had, he's wrong, it's in his mind. Daikon, I'm going. Oh, Daikon, going. Yeah, Daikon, no, we'll be going. Of men dead in their mind, thinking they've plague when they've gone none. In Italy one day, Venezia we were. Whole mob of folk, crusaders, starving in the name of God, so prayed to him. And he said, walk on, my children, to Jerusalem. There's naught but sea there, William. Walked into the sea, 10, 100, and 1,000 walked into the sea and drowned. No reason, William. God's telling. God, Almighty God. Yeah, I thought you'd no time for good, Daikon. What else? Just fear. I ran then up the road to France. Afore was my mind went. Afore I walked into the sea, I ran then, seeing dead minds. I'm running now. Good morning, master. You've been sleeping. Sleep? Not dead? No. I'm not in hell. You're not the whore of Babylon. No. Well then, eh? What do you want? Nothing. I have found what I want. I'm here. What do you mean? I want what I can find only here in Christ's house, for he came to preach the gospel to the poor, and I have come for the poor, that you, as a servant, shall feed the hungry. For you, as I, have taken on the yoke of poverty, as did the apostles who had all in common, and possessed no thing of their own. We are hungry then, feed us. There's nothing here, but so there is, you are too modest. Here on God's table there is bread and wine. Now eat, come, eat. This is blasphemy. Come, eat, you are hungry, there is no dread. I have eaten, I have drunk, and I am not struck down. Perhaps you are thirsty, not for wine, but for understanding of the visitation that has come. For you have heard your priests mumble of retribution, and yet you've seen the good struck down. They have told you to come here to church for understanding, yet the plague goes on. But it's all written in this old book. Hear and understand that there is spoken of a time when civil discord, wars and droughts, famines and tyrants shall oppress the world. That time is now. That there is spoken of a beast, the son of all perdition, who will rise in the appearance of a saint, and do the devil's work, enslave the earth. His name is Antichrist. That time is now when the beast is carried on a great whore, who had laid with all the kings of the earth, deliciously, and sits on the waters of the world, which is the people of the world, and spreads her filth throughout the clear waters. This whore is Babylon. That time is now. That there is spoken of a time when Babylon shall suffer with all famines, and all curses, and all plagues, and it shall fall, and all the merchants of the world shall weep. Oh, weep terribly, for no one buys their gold or silver, or their linen, or their ivory, or sheep, or souls of men, and the poor shall in their place live 1,000 years of bliss. That time is now. Who is the Antichrist? Who is the whore? Aren't they to be born in the east? No. They are already here. He sits, the Antichrist. The whore lies already under him. The Antichrist is the priest of Rome, and Babylon's his church. The fat priest is he that wears the robes of innocence to hide his putrid nudity. His church it is that fornicates with all the kings and princes. Who are you? I am the Baptist of the King that once was killed and sleeps, waiting to rise with all the righteous ones. It's there, it's in the book. You only have to read. If you are what you say you are, if you are greater than the church, show us a miracle. That's a miracle. Look, priest, that's a miracle. No, it's a trick. You could make that powder. I'll show you a miracle. He asked me where I came from, but he's a wormy old man. You asked me in his place. Where have you come from? Nowhere. What are you? I am not. Where do you lead? To untrammeled freedom. What do you call that? When a man does only what he wants to do, what do you want to do? I want to find my love. Then you want paradise. And where is that? In Eden. In old Adam's time, before the stream of man was forded from the sea of God, but it can join again and mingle in the clearest waters. We can make us innocent. Kiss me. Guilty? Feel guilty? No. Then there's a miracle. Look, you've clothed with the sun. You are incorruptible. Look, there's a miracle. And now I can tell you the meaning. For the hordes are not destroyed by God, but men. It's there. The 144,000 of the just who are to chain the Antichrist. And where are they? Not in the east, but here, amongst the poor, those who make the wheaten bread but never chew it, those who are robbed of labor to maintain the pomp of riches. For know this, the plague is in their purses. It is the rust of gold that burns their flesh like fire. And let them puff themselves up as much as they will. These tares still will go beneath the flail. For God's a reaper and a leveler too, and they should howl. But you, no, you won't howl. For as Isaiah says, you will drink at the breast of consolation, as one whose mother comforts him. So you shall be comforted in Jerusalem. Where is it then? Again, it's here, when all is held in common like the sky and sea, as in old Adam's time, and each man has enough. Leave my house. It's not your house, it is the house of God. It is our house, for we are God. That's the most dreadful blasphemy. No, it's the best theology, for God is in each stone and every limb. As sure as in the Eucharist bread, all is divine. Have you no thought of sin? How could I? For if we sin, then God sins. It is his work. Nothing is sin except we think it so. If God is all, then God is nothing. Yes, of course, we are God, so we have no need of him. Seize that man, I order you. No, sir, God save you. He will not. Will none seize this man? Are you all blinded by the devil's might? Then I must do God's work, John. So who will not follow me now to the houses of the rich, to the fine mansions, to the marble halls? For see, I make all things new.